Hello to 134 subscribers. Let me show you how to build a fully automated email responder system which is connected to Voice AI agent as well as trained on the company information. For this specific use case, we'll get this insurance agency, but you can build similar thing for any type of businesses. We have two email accounts, one personal and one business. So let's say that we are sending as a client an email to this business. Let's say, hi, I want to get an insurance. We also need to mention YouTube keyword. Again, I'm showing just how it works in general, and then we'll go on the back end and I'll explain you everything. Now, let's wait till we receive this email. The email has been received. Now, when we go to make, obviously it was not triggered automatically since it's just the prototype. If we click run, it got this email, I want to get an insurance, and it just sent us an email, which is generated by AI here. Could you please provide the full name, the type of insurance we're interested in, and some more data? So now if we reply, and here's the message, we can paste it here, and maybe we can say, I want to get. And again, we also need to mention YouTube keyword just for the sake of AI, the system to recognize this specific email, okay? Now let's wait for it to go through. We actually just received it. Now, if we go here and we click run again, it should go to another flow and we should get a phone call just in a few seconds. Let's see. Okay, so I have a phone call. Let's see.
Hi, Eugene Kadzin. This is Alice from Peabody Insurance. We've been in touch via email, and I'm calling to quickly verify some details. Do you have a moment to chat?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I think you got the idea. Now it will verify all this information that we provided and then transfer our actual case to, let's say, a CRM or notify a member. It's not going to do in this specific use case, obviously, but let's say you can wait for the response for the phone call to be ended and then do something. Okay, I think you got the idea. Now, let me show you on the back end how everything works. This is the structure, so let's go over it quickly. We have a user intent or a user question. Let's say the user sent us an email. Again, you remember, we are sending this email from our personal email account to this business account. Again, this is Eugene at Wimple Agency, but this would be, an actual business email account. Now, this email is triggered inside Make. As you can see here, this is the first step in Make when we are watching for the email. The problem with Gmail module in Make is that it cannot trigger automatically every time we receive an email. So let's say when an email is received, the automation is triggered. Again, there are a few workarounds, but in this case, this is like the manual step. Obviously, this is not something that you're gonna do for yourself. Thus, you can basically trigger this scenario at regular intervals, for example, at 5 minutes, and now every 5 minutes it will start it and see all the incoming messages and respond to all of them. Okay, so we have the make. Then make classify this message. First, if it's general message like, hi, how are you? Like, what's the weather? It will send a response based on just the AI generated, based on, just the prompt that we provide to the AI. We don't need to get any context about the business, right? Since it's just general message. When the question is related to our services or to our business, we actually connect to a Voiceflow knowledge base because this is where the business info sits. And then we send an email. Again, I'll show you how it's done here. If you remember, this is what we had at the very first step. And then we can basically, if the make classifies the response, not the make, the ChatGPT classifies the message as a request, then we need to further narrow down this intent into two scenarios. Either it's this request have all the info that we need, the phone, the address, the service itself, and go to an call the API of Vapi and Vapi as a service provider to make an AI phone call, or if the information is missing, basically send a clarification email and then call Vapi. Okay, I think it's not super clear still, so let's jump into make and show you how it works here. Okay, now we have the watch email. Let's say we receive the email. First, this is the intent classification step. This is a prompt. By the way, I have a resource hub. It is free. So all these templates and all other templates from all of my tutorials are available there for free. First link in the description. Go check it out. So you can just copy and paste this template so you'll have everything. Okay. Let's say that we are asking AI to classify. Let's say if it's a general message like, hi, how are you? Output one. And if it's a business related question, output two. Now, AI will output either one or two. Now, in this case, as you can see, it output two. Then we have a route step. In the route step, we have two filters. Basically, the first filter is the condition of the filter of this condition. If the result, basically from the ChatGPT, is equals to one, then go here. And one, if you remember, equals to just general question. And if the actual output equals 2, go here. So let's go here. Basically, when the output is 1, we're just asking ChatGPT because 1 is general question. Hi, how are you? Obviously, we don't need to connect to the knowledge base. So we are just asking AI like, hey, you work for an insurance company. So here is the user reply. Please provide an answer, right? Something like that. And then we send an email. It's pretty straightforward. By the way, I forgot one thing. This is why we actually were typing YouTube, because in this specific configuration of this module, if you see closely, we have a search phrase YouTube. Basically, all of the emails that have the keyword, the search phrase YouTube, will be triggered and will start this automation if you choose to run this scenario in regular intervals. But you can remove it and process all the emails. Or maybe you have very specific keyword which all of your customers ask, like PO number. This is what we often use, or something similar. Now, this is the simple scenario. I think you get the idea. Simple flow, simple route. Now, the second route. Let's say when the AI classifies the message as an import or a business related. Now, we have another ChatGPT step where we further clarifying this message. Let's say it is business related, but then we need to understand, okay, does this message have all the information we need in order to initiate the call? And of course, you don't need to initiate the call. You can, like, when we have all the message, create a draft inside HubSpot, add the record to this specific client or to this specific pipeline. Again, there are quite a few different use cases for this scenario, but it's clarifying and classifying the message further. If the user provided all the information, and we listed here name, phone number, the interested service, and the state where he lives, output 1. And if the information was not provided, output 2. And then we say, okay, so this is the user message, and we get this message from the Gmail tab here. We just choose it. It should be somewhere, yeah, text content. Okay, it's pretty simple. Then we have another route block, which has two routes. The first one, if the ChatGPT output 1, and 1, if you see here, all the information was provided. And this is the last thing that when we said, this, when we provided all the information, AI classified as one because we provided the info that the business needs. Thus, it went to this route, AI, then this is the problem. The problem is that we need to make an API call to Vapi. Vapi is a software where you can build voice AI assistants. It's very straightforward. Obviously, this is the interface, and you can build it, from scratch, create an assistant, and configure everything here. But the problem is that let's say we configure this assistant, but we need to trigger this assistant from an external application as make. Thus, we need to use an API call. And they do actually, have a documentation. You can use, as I usually do, just Claude or ChatGPT. If you don't understand something, you can just, paste the information here and ask for help. But again, this template is available, so you can just copy and paste it. Basically, this is the API key that you actually need to provide for the authorization. This is my API key, but if you're going to use it, I'll just, I will, this is my demo account, so you will not be able to access it. Now, but then when we provide the authentication and the content type application JSON, we need to provide like the information of the request, right? So we need to specify the assistant that we are calling from, because we have multiple assistants here. This is Ava, booking demo, this is just the demo account. So we need to specify the assistant, and we also need to specify a few more things. In order to do it more conveniently, I add another ChatGPT block. And here's what it does. We're saying, okay, this is the last user message, and we're getting this message from the email step, right? And in this message, if you remember, we are mentioning our name, our address, our phone number, so everything. Now, we are asking AI to create a JSON response, basically, with all this information inputted into the template. So this is like the template, basically, and this is how the request looks. So if you just copy it, and like change these variables, as you can see, they are not working, but we don't need it to work because these are just the variables, and the AI see that this is basically the name, and it gets the name from this message and put it here. Now it gets the address from this message and put it here. And now since we mentioned in our last email, as you can see, we mentioned our phone number. So it gets this phone number and it puts it in the name, our name, and the customer number, it puts it here. Again, you can technically do everything without additional ChatGPT block, with just configuration blocks with text parsers of the make. But I like it. I like to do it through AI to make sure that everything is perfect. And we're asking, and we're saying that the goal of the AI is to output just the JSON and simply um, replace the parameters from this message and put it here. Okay. Thus, from here, we have, as a result, very, very clean JSON response, right? And this JSON response have the phone number, have our name, have the address that we have here, so everything. And basically, we put this specific result as a JSON here, right, as a requested content. So now when we trigger this automation, it will trigger this specific endpoint with this request content. I think it's pretty clear. Again, you can actually, I have a few videos on how to set up Vapi, but you can just go here, create a free account, create an assistant, and you can, there are quite a few different ways, you can configure the assistant here and just reference it. If you see in the result, we are assistant ID. So we are referencing this specific assistant and we are getting this ID. Then for the phone number, I have this phone number, which I bought from Vapi. So it also has the ID. So we can go here and input the phone number ID. But the problem is that we need to input dynamically. So let's say we are asking, we create this template and do something here, right? So we provide the prompt, we provide the script. The problem is that when we run this assistant, it will not have the dynamic information from this flow, right? It will not have the phone number. No, the phone number it will, but since we're like calling the phone number, but it will not have like my name, my address, and the service that I'm interested in. That's why we are overriding, as you can see here, assistant overrides. We are overriding this content. And we are also overriding the first message because there's nothing here in the first message. It's very straightforward. Again, in order to get the API key, you'll, I think, figure this out. Okay. Now, this is, it's very simple. Now, when we have, when the AI outputs 2, it means that not all the information was actually provided. That's where we go to a second flow. It's actually the third one. So if we say this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. But it didn't went here because we provided all the information. But if we would not, AI would remove, like, this is the technical step, let's say, because we have this message, our question. For example, if we ask something like, what type of service do you provide, it will like remove all the question marks, all the commas, so that we can pass it further. And then we have this HTTP API request, basically. And we are requesting Voiceflow knowledge base. This is why I said that this assistant is trained on your business data. So if you go to Voiceflow, again, this Voiceflow template will be in the resource hub, but we like just provided all the URLs from this website. So the Voiceflow knowledge base is trained on the company data, right? So when we ask something, it will be able to respond from here, from these resources. The only problem is that we need to call when we are, we classified that this is the specific question, but now instead of providing all the details, let's say we didn't provide the full details, we are like asked the question. So the AI needs to answer this question based on the knowledge base. So it goes to this route and calling the Voiceflow knowledge base. So it does it by this endpoint authorization. You can choose the API key, application type, and this is the request. It's very simple. Again, this is the question is comes from here, right? So the actual question is in the email, right? So for sure, Eugene Kazin. So this would be the question, like, what services do you provide? And actually, it was right. So it was the question. It was the first question. If you go here, no, it did not. So it actually asked us about the information right away. But if we would, ask something, let's actually try. Let's actually try. So if we do something like Eugene Kadzing, hi, what type of insurance do you guys have? And we say YouTube, because we are triggering this. It should go to this scenario, trigger the Voiceflow knowledge base, and provide us some information. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so this is the email. Now, if we run this, yeah, so as you can see, it went through this, it sent the email, and now if we receive the email, it actually says not found for some reason. Okay, let's check why it's not found. RE. So where is the error? Result, what type of insurance do you have? Okay. And this is the request. This is the data. This is the data. Okay, like this is the chunks that we receive from the Voiceflow knowledge base, right? But now, what is here? Result not found for some reason. The goal is to respond to the user last question. Okay, I think you got the idea, right? So It just, the problem is probably in the prompt. You just need to clarify it a bit differently, because we have the user question here as a, right, so as a what insurance type, and for the context we have from the data, we have this response, right? um, we have this data, this chunk of data. Insurance can give you a substantial discount, low coverage. So these are all the types. So it's not structured. So that's why we can't like respond like that to the user, right? So we need additional AI step to process this specific, information. Okay, let's actually, I just want to make sure. Let's actually do another one. So let's reply and say, what is the question? Uh, like maybe like, uh, what type of services do you guys provide, something like that. Now let's see if it will give us the reply, because the knowledge base by itself is working. Sorry, yeah. I did not mention the YouTube, so it's not going to be triggered, I guess. So let's actually, repaste it another time. Okay, hi, and YouTube. Uh, yeah, it's here actually, but we did not mention the YouTube here, so it will not be triggered probably. We're sending the new email. Okay, so it's here. Now let's run this one. But what type of services do you provide? It goes here. It goes here. Uh, okay, so now auto insurance, construction insurance, claims advice. Okay, so it got the replay, right? So this is the replay that we received. Okay, I think you got the idea. Again, so there are quite a few, one, two, and actual three classification steps, two routes, and this is the final route when we have all the information. We are calling the voice AI, and we're asking the agent to confirm this information. And if this is the technical question, we are calling the Voiceflow knowledge base, which is able to provide the information about our business. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Peace.